Galliano was approaching some kind of critical mass. The feverish eventfulness of his shows was married to steadily escalating acclaim. Now he needed a daddy warbucks to keep the wheels turning. Nobody ever said John Galliano was unlucky. What John needed, John got. The visionary fashion Svengali Bernard Arnault, head of LVMH, France's biggest luxury goods business, was looking for a way to juice up one of his acquisitions, the House of Givenchy, now that its aristocratic founder was about to retire.
Mr. Arnault was very interested in what I was doing, more so by the kind of these ladies that were like, you know, tripping down to the Bastille to buy a Galliano frock. That he just couldn't work out. And I think that intrigued him a bit, and that's how the whole Givenchy thing happened.
And so it happened that a voraciously curious fashion world trooped out to the back of Beyond in Paris to see what the golden boy could do with one of France's dustier fashion legacies. And guess what? Galliano looked homewards.
This show is not only an obvious talent demonstration, but it's also the victory of the money plus talent for the future. When somebody like Mr. Arnault dare to put his money on such a crazy personality as John, without any, let's say, any fear, aucune peur, it's what we could get. Money plus talent is triumph.
It was genius. I mean, I think it was so great that John could do what he did with his own line and to do this today and totally reinvent what Givenchy has been. I mean, I thought it was just sensational.
God, remember the fuss, though? There was this young Englishman at one of the most venerable French couture houses, and that only got worse, you know, when you were...
Well, I think they thought I was this punk that was coming down to tear this fantastic house down, which, I mean, I just went and saw it like a tree, and we were just pruning it, really. We weren't horrible people, really. We had great respect for Monsieur Givenchy's work.
Galliano designed 2 collections for Givenchy before he was replaced by another controversial Brit, Alexander McQueen. Bernard Arnault had bigger plans for his Dauphin. It was a work secret fashion to the point where the actual announcement that John Galliano was to be the new designer for the house of Christian Dior came almost as an anticlimax. Though there was one person who seemed surprised by the news.
I nearly fell off my chair. I mean, I really did. When I was called to go and see Mr. Arnault, and I think it was a Friday, early, kind of late afternoon, early evening, and my hair was a mess. You know, I had the wrong coloured toenail polish, skulls. You know, it was like unexpected. No one rings you Friday evening. Then normally every Parisian goes out of Paris. I thought I'd done something really bad, really wrong, or offended someone. So I had to go over to meet Mr. Arnault, and it was there and then that he said, because I'd been invited to a dinner before where we, like, just jokingly, I said, oh yeah, I'd love to do Dior. That's like what. And he called me up and offered me Dior. I really fell off my chair. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't say anything to anyone, not to Amanda, not to Stephen. I was sworn to secrecy, because I still had the Givenchy pret-a-porter to do, which we hadn't shown, and I couldn't tell a soul, not even my mother.
Did you have a sense that there was a lot more riding on your shoulders than just, you know, I'm the designer at Dior, but I'm also really the figurehead of a whole new way to approach fashion for the future?
Yeah, there was that. And also you have to remember that when I started, I think the first collection that was shown was an haute couture show as en plus. So yeah, it was a big pressure. It wasn't like, you know, we could like slip in a few little pre-cols and, you know, knock out a pret-a-porter and then get stuck in. No, it was like the big moment haute couture. Also, it was the 50th anniversary of Mr. Dior, wasn't it? There was an enormous pressure.
The risk was huge. I mean, the main designer of the house is representing the image, and we were willing somebody really to change the styling. It was not just somebody doing noise. I mean, we knew we wanted to look for new directions.
Response to the Galliano-Givenchy union had ultimately been ambiguous. But the Galliano-Dior match felt more compatible. The great romanticist of fashion present had been taken on to resuscitate the legacy of one of the great romanticists of fashion past. And Galliano masterfully walked the razor's edge between his innate showmanship and the heavy traditions of his new job.
Tell me about that first couture show for Dior. What's your memory of it? Is it like when people say they win an Oscar and they don't remember a thing about the night because it's just a complete
overdrive? I remember.
Oh, yeah? What do you remember?
I remember working with all the ateliers, meeting everyone, and fantastic embroiderers and beaders. And then I lost one of my dearest friends, Amanda Harlett, who went to Chanel. All this was happening. It was fraught and exciting. And I remember how suddenly the children that worked with me, Stephen, Vanessa, and everyone flourished, blossomed overnight to support me. And I remember, it was a bit like a coronation, the show, the end of the show. It was quite mad. And it was a success.
Let's face it, 3 years ago, everyone was saying the French couture is passé, it's decadent, there is no need for it anymore, and blah, 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 and let's kill the haute couture. Today is new blood, you could feel the room today. Everybody was, like, excited.
I think it was a very good collection. I think it was beautiful and very dreamy, and like beautiful evening dress and a lot of pearls and no, very nice, very beautiful.
Can you see the spirit of the house in this collection?
Sometimes I think you use some of the fabric on some evening dresses. They were like a beautiful evening dress with the tulle, the big ones. That was very Dior for the first season, no? But maybe it's always difficult to say what can you do when you are working for a house like that. You have to do exactly what he did or what? You have to renew it. Now Dior shouldn't do the things that he was doing at that time, so it's good to take the tradition and to make it in a new way.
My honest opinion is that it's the best. It's the most celestial, it's the most creative, the most beautiful show I've ever seen. It's the best.
Don't hold back.
No, I will. This is the it show. I absolutely love it, and I have seen many shows in the last 20 years. That is the best, I would say.
If you want an illustration of what unbridled imagination and bottomless pockets can create together, look no further than John Galliano's first shows for Dior. The ready-to-wear presentations were exercises in unparalleled extravagance.